What's going on, everybody? This is the Battle Creek Sprint Enduro. First time running this for anyone. First one in Michigan, so I was part of the inaugural fleet. I know this was run on October 22nd, and you guys are like, "Holy smokes! Wasn't that like a year ago?" You know, it was like a week and a half ago. I know I planned on getting my video out like a long time ago, but life gets in the way sometimes. You know, it is what it is. So yeah, I think this was maybe the second or third time through. I was just trying to find the one that had the lap that had the best footage, really. I started cutting and splicing, and the video just looked really bad. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna go with this one. This one looked the best, it flowed the most, whatever. Yeah. So Battle Creek. This is the location for the National Hare Scramble. And if you guys remember, even though this trail looks smooth and mostly straight, the whole thing is super whooped out. The camera, if you remember, is on my helmet, so you know it's moving as much as it is on my head. So you know it makes it a little more challenging to go fast through these sections. Although there are other people that say, okay, whoops, just get on the back of the seat and let it eat. I'm a little bit more nervous about trees than that. Not real sure what happened there. I went through that section on like every other lap and went right through there. And for some reason on the footage I selected to put on YouTube, I almost came to a dead stop. But yeah, so what's a sprint enduro? Well, it's basically, in my opinion, it's a hare scramble. It's broke down into different stages. This was the enduro section. Took about 14 minutes to get through it. And then there was what they called a cross test, which was basically a motocross section with some woods. It only took about 9 minutes to get through. You know, I'm really not sure why this was called an enduro section. I would have preferred to have seen a whole lot more obstacles. This is really just moved out trails with some roots and a couple little sticks in the way. I've got no problem with that, if it's a hare scramble. We're going to call it an enduro, and this is going to be the enduro section. I would definitely like to see some more obstacles, and you know, like some other people have suggested, you know, if you know, maybe you make it so extreme that people are going to have a hard time getting through it, then I guess maybe throw a bypass in there or something. I don't know. I mean, it is called a sprint enduro, so I understand that, you know, we're supposed to be keeping our momentum up. So maybe that's why there wasn't as many obstacles as maybe we were expecting. I wouldn't mind seeing some though. Like come up here, I think there's a big boulder section, and we just kind of go around the outside of it. Why not go right through it? It won't really slow us down, and it's some kind of a challenge. You know, just food for thought. The other thing that I didn't really care for, and some people actually love it, and I get why, but it's taking breaks. In between each test, you get a 25-minute break, or roughly 25-minute break. That's fine. The problem that I have with it is it makes it take all day. So what I personally would like to see is, instead of running 2 different tests 4 times, so a total of 8 different tests, run, or basically make it one whole lap. If the layout of the track is going to be like this, where it's basically just our normal hare scramble course. Just do one whole lap and then let us take a 25-minute break. So there's only 4 breaks instead of 8, or whatever it work out to, 3 breaks instead of 7. I don't know. That's the only thing that I would suggest. I don't see any reason why people wouldn't be capable of, doing a 24-minute lap instead of a 14-minute lap at a sprint pace. I think it's completely doable, unless you're wanting to keep different types of tracks completely separate from each other. Then I kind of understand it, and maybe there's just something we can do a little bit differently. I don't know. The biggest problem that I had with that wasn't even really a problem that I had with it. It's more for the spectators. My wife really likes to come to the races with me, which, thank God, right? I mean, your wife is on your side and likes coming to it. That's a good thing. But she likes coming and she likes to watch. Well, when we're doing our normal hare scrambles, we all start in a wave as a group. And over the season, she's gotten to know most of the guys that we ride with in the K class. So she knows the bikes and the numbers to look for the guys that are a little bit faster than me. And so when she sees them, she knows that I'm going to be within a minute or so. And so she knows what to be watching. Now the solution that I'm coming up with is I'm going to buy a camera from a drone and mount that on my helmet and buy the receiver and transmitter, blah, 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 all that BS. For about $165, I can get what's supposed to be a roughly 6-mile range. I don't know what it'll do on the ground, especially going through these heavy trees and stuff. I don't know. I figure that for the most part we probably don't get more than 2-3 miles from where our cars are parked during the races. So hopefully there's enough range on that she'll be able to see at least most of the race, if not all of it. And that could potentially resolve her issues with the Sprint Enduro, because I really did like this race. I don't know. She had more complaints about it than I did. My only complaint was, that we didn't get out of there until almost 6 o'clock that night. So, just some things to think about for the future. So on this first lap through this section, I got stuck behind a kid that was on like a KX80, KX85, something like that. I don't know. It was a little Kawasaki, and I was way faster than him, and he was holding me up through this section, but he would not let me go by him. And so eventually I had to go off to the side and literally like ran into a tree with my left arm. My whole left forearm was all bruised up and bloody. And yeah, he was not letting me over. And I think when we get to the motocross test, or I guess they call it just the cross test, whatever. There goes Brian. I'll tell you about him in just a second. But when that kid finally let me by, or when I finally got around him, you know, he'll be in the start of the next section. Anyway, Brian, who just flew by me, at this point is riding on a flat tire, like a flat rear tire, and he told me he was going to take it easy, so I started in front of him, and clearly he decided he was not going to take it easy. If you want to see how to get through the woods, check out Crash 963 on YouTube. Brian gets through this section like he is on rails. He was on a mission. He was an absolute crazy person. I've never seen him ride like that, and he said that he felt like he could have ridden even harder. It was incredible. You've got to check out his video. But you know, even with his flat tire, you know, I still have him in view. He doesn't get completely out of view from me, but yeah, he put on quite a show. Had he kept his tires full of air, you know, he probably would have had a better result. I think he still ended up finishing something like 15th, which, you know, congratulations, man. That was a hell of a ride. Yeah. So at this point, we're starting to come close to the end. Hey, let me see here. Well, I can't tell. I think we're a couple minutes away, maybe. But obviously, with him flying by me, you know, that kind of spurred me on to go a little bit faster. But you know, I've been debating getting a new bike. I've done so much to this bike this year that I really can't justify spending the money on anything new. This bike's been really good, you know. I have some troubles with it getting it to start when I stall it, but other than that, I mean, this bike's been awesome, and I can't really ask for much more. You know, when it stalls, it's because I've done something wrong. Usually it's because I'm sitting on the ground, so that's really more my fault than the bike. So yeah, you know, it is what it is. I just keep hearing about these new suspensions and how good they are, and I've put a new, you know, a factory connection suspension on here, and I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about it, but it's just more. It doesn't soak up the bumps like some of these guys on the newer bikes seem to. But realistically, I mean, maybe I'll try something or get something different in another year or two. I've got to go at least one more season on this bike the way it is. You know, it was a low hours bike when I started the season. I only put like 23 hours on it this year, so it's got like maybe 65 hours on it total. So it's still a really young bike as far as, you know, its hours, and all the new stuff that's been put on it just doesn't make any sense. So realistically, I'll go at least one more season before I consider anything else. So that's the end of the first test. Now, here's the cross test, and test number 2. This was definitely more my speed. This is what I liked a lot more. I don't really have any kind of riding that I prefer more than the other. This is my first year on a dirt bike, so I'm not gonna say I'm more of a motocross kind of guy, more of a tight single track kind of guy, like whatever. As long as it flows and I can keep my speed up, I like it. And this section definitely flowed better than test 1 for the enduro section. Had a ton of fun here. Again, keep in mind my bars are really narrow, so I was trying to take it easy because there is a lot of deep sand here. It's like every other Michigan track. There's tons of deep sand, but it is what it is. We work with it. So I was being a little bit timid in the corners, but I was really feeling good on these jumps. I was kind of sending it. Almost made that one. I never got that one. But I came real close, and that's all that counts, I guess. I wasn't landing in the middle of the tabletop. My goal was to clear every jump on this track by the end of the day, and I didn't accomplish that. And towards the end of this lap, you'll see why. I kind of ended up backing it down a little bit because I almost ate it. But we'll worry about that when we get there. So yeah, this section was feeling pretty good. Little sketchy in here sometimes. This ground, even though it's really sandy, it's also really gravelly, and it's really hard right here. So it was way more like flat tracking through this section than your typical motocross track. But yeah, like even those little jumps, I was like, okay, I can clear that, land on the backside nice and smooth. It's feeling good. I wanted to do that on every jump. Right here, I don't know what happened. The bike just kicked a little bit sideways and got thrown into that deep sand, and like, well, I guess we're just gonna ride over here until we get to the trees. This corner, if you remember from the Nationals race, that corner's super sandy. You gotta just get on the gas and let it pull you through. Oh man, that's deep. I wanted to put the last lap number 4, test 2, is what I wanted to publish. Pony down, Jeff Carroll, he was right behind me in the starting blocks, and we were duking it out. We ended up finishing 11 seconds apart, and I did beat him, but that last lap I rode harder, faster, and better than I have all season because I knew he was coming for me. So in these corners where I'm kind of leaning it over, I mean, I had it laid over. These berms kind of built up to where the trees were sticking out of the berms, and so if you rode the berm around, you were actually like riding on the tree trunks. And that's how I was hitting those corners on the last lap. Unfortunately, my battery on my camera died after about 30 seconds into that last lap. So yeah, all the good footage never got recorded. I was pretty bummed about that because I knew it was my fastest lap through there of the day, and I knew how hard I was pushing it, and I knew that it would have looked much better on camera than this, but it is what it is. That's also another downside to the Sprint Enduro race, is your camera battery takes a hit because there's a lot of time where it's on and not recording because you're waiting to start and everything else. So Yeah, it is what it is. You know, there's nothing you can say about it. It's a good time. I definitely recommend it if this becomes a series next year, which I kind of hope it does. You know, I don't want it to interfere with the hare scrambles, but like this year when we had, I think it was right around the 4th of July, we had like a month and a half off. It was like 6 weeks. I would have definitely gone for 2 or 3 of these races during that time. You know, it's a really good time to throw a couple of these in there. And yeah, I definitely would have gone. Honestly, I think when we get into the breaks, right there, Mark Hardman gets past me, and we're coming back up to the motocross section. I'll get back around him, and we had a good little battle. But anyways, around the 4th of July, you know, we take that long break, and I know that it's because of the holiday and all that, but realistically, I don't think there's that many people that are that worried about having time off. I think most of us would still go racing, so you know, I would prefer to not have the huge gaps, especially when it's starting to get warm, but it's not hot yet. You know, when we're getting into mid-August, that's when it's getting hot and it's kind of miserable to be racing. So I don't want to break when it's nice racing weather. This guy was just holding me up out the way. So right here, I'm going to clip in the second lap, just because the footage was a little better. I was going a little bit harder over these jumps, and I wanted you guys to see where I almost bit it. The unfortunate thing is with this, I moved my camera up to my visor, and the angle's good, I think, as far as your view out, but you don't see the handlebars really at all, and yeah, you don't really see what happens on this jump, but it is what it is. So, like I said, this was technically the second lap that this footage is from. Booster had gotten around me in the woods there, and I don't know what he was doing. Must have been shining his gas cap or something, because he was just hanging out there. But I knew as soon as I got past him, he was going to be coming. So I was pushing hard. So this jump right here, I've never cleared before, and I made it that time. But there's a turn right there, so it scared the crap out of me. I laid up on this jump where I should have been going for it. So that was my bad. Again, you know, like I said, the narrower bars, I'm just kind of feeling these corners out. I'm definitely not comfortable just throwing it into corners like the pros do. I'm not a pro. Maybe someday. We'll see. Okay, so I came a couple inches short, but I'll call that clear. That one I definitely came up short, and this is the one. Oh, I was nose heavy, landed on the front wheel about 6 inches shy of clearing it, and started tank slapping, and lucky for me, there was that kind of buildup of sand on the left side of the track there that it kind of pulled me into. It slowed me down just enough to keep me from crashing. It was a close call. I'm glad that I survived without, you know, any catastrophic damage. I hope everybody's enjoyed the videos this season. I've enjoyed making them. Hope to see everybody out next year. There's one last shot of Pony down. There's Booster's wheel. We'll give him a little shot of dirt here. But yeah, you know, thanks again everybody for watching, and again, I hope to see you all next year.